So for today's episode, we're going to be talking about the more Pando. Apparently, Pando Calrissian is making a comeback, and a little bit of a way, but it is going to be considered canon 100%. So that might be a little bit anger inducing for a few people. Plus, we're going to be talking about the Josh Gad Olaf retelling of the prequel trilogy, and then a couple of the little pieces of news information, like perhaps that Tom Holland is being eyed to join Star Wars. That's what I'm being told. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. So why don't we just jump right into the news today? So let's talk about Pando Calrissian. Okay, now this article is coming in from We Got This Covered. So when I first saw the headline for this, my thought was, oh, no. What are you doing? We Got This Covered. You're lying, because they lie. They manufacture news. This is true. But they also pepper in real stories as a way to legitimize themselves, which is unfortunate. So it says here that this new Star Wars book reveals more about Lando's pansexual relationship with L337, which as a denizen of the internet, the fact that they called her L337, so leet, which is an old term from way back in the day, is just kind of like, it's geeky, but it's also kind of stupid. So now it goes on to say here that Phoebe Waller-Bridge's L337 was one of the more interesting characters in Solo: A Star Wars Story. Ever since A New Hope, fans have had questions about droid rights in Star Wars, with some noting that it's screwed up that the first time we meet Luke Skywalker, he and his uncle are effectively buying slaves. Yeah, but droids are also considered autonomous, and they don't have souls, and droid right. I mean, come on, no one's ever sat there and been like. I don't want to say it, but there's never been a riot. There's never been a riot that happened in Naboo, right? There was no riot once the droid army was defeated, and you find out they were controlled, by the separatists in the Trade Federation. Like, no one came out and held a rally for those who were conscripted into battle that fought against their will. And if there's ever been a droid that's killed in a Star Wars movie, like on Mos Eisley, no droids were allowed in the cantina. I didn't see any kind of blog post. I have to be very careful with that joke. That being said here, L3 felt like a response to this as she tried to liberate droids forced into menial labor and advocated for rights of mechanical beings, as well as having a clear romantic chemistry with the pansexual Lando Calrissian. Now, she died. We know L337 died, and there was a lot of people that felt like that whole droid rights thing was really shoehorned, and when they killed her, it was like, yeah, I could see that coming. She's going to run out and go like, freedom! And then she's just going to get cat, and taken out. Like, that's what I felt when I'm like, she's going to totally die. And then they put her in the Millennium Falcon. And a lot of people got real mad at that too. And people were really mad about the whole Lando Calrissian sexual thing anyway. But it makes a lot of sense. The way Donald Glover kind of described it was like, look, it's, pansexual means you're attracted to a whole bunch of different things. And in the world of Star Wars, not everything is human. Right? Like, not everything is human. There's a great gag about that in Guardians of the Galaxy where Drax is all like, you laid with an Ascovarian? Like, one time, man. So there's gags about that. So Peter Quill technically is considered pansexual, but he errs on the side of cis if we're going to look at it from those kind of gendered terminology here. Well, I don't really quite know. Anyway, so here's what we know about this new book. So there's a new book that's coming out. I talked about this the other day, called From a Certain Point of View, The Empire Strikes Back, which is going to be a collection of stories that retells familiar events from the perspective of background characters, right? And so there's going to be a lot of stuff in this one. Well, there's this one story called Faith in an Old Friend that is set during the scene in the Millennium Falcon where it hides out on the asteroid. Now, we learn that L3 is still conscious within the Falcon, along with two other parts known as VT5 or V5T, the original transport droid installed by the factory, in ED4, a corporate espionage slicer. Together, they dubbed themselves the Millennium Collective, with L3 encouraging them to maintain their own names and personalities. We also see L3 witness an intimate moment between Han and Leia. So this is going to be like fly on the wall, kind of like Ghost in the Machine sort of thing, where this is what the snippet of the story says. It says the collective shifted from the to the cam, bringing up the visual. Han held the woman, Leia, in his arms. L337 suspected what this meant. She remembered how Lando's heart rate would change whenever they were in close proximity. Something like sadness shoved against her awareness. Is this organic courtship? ED4 said as they turned to the cockpit's audio. The collective listened, and L337 was grateful for the distraction. That feeling reached ED4, who sent a gentle nudge back. L337 no longer had the body she spent so long building or the human partner she'd bonded with so deeply. But she wasn't alone, and for that, she was thankful. So obviously the story itself here is not going to end up going into, it's not going to go into details about how it works, even though in the freaking movie, in Solo, L337, when asked about it by Kira, is all like, nah, it works. We don't know any of the specifics. We just know that it's a little line of adult humor, and that's one of the things that's in the movie. So this is one of those weird ones where I'm going to read from a certain point of view. I just find it to be like this little exchange is hinting back at that, and it's kind of sweet in and of itself. I wouldn't mind if Lando had actually like come out and like talks about it, like if there's like if they write something from like another character on Bespin, and you have Billy, like Lando's all like, let me tell you the story about how I lost my robot virginity. It was a cold night in the Falcon. We had run out of fuel while trying to escape the Imperial Army. Me and my co-pilot L337, we got to talking about life and love, and of course our own ambitions, which surprisingly overlapped. And then I pulled out a Colt 45, and we just, let's just say it works. Yeah, I mean, like something along those lines. But it's got to be read by Billy D. If Billy D read a story where Billy D had like sexual relations with L337, if he wrote that story, I would totally watch that. I would totally listen to it. I think it'd be fantastic. Hell, I might clip this section out just to run it on the channel to get more people to check out this particular podcast. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. When does this come out? This one comes out. It's from a certain point of view, The Empire Strikes Back. 40 stories by 40 different authors. And I'm not too sure. I think it's coming out here pretty soon. I know it comes out in October. It's probably already out. I just didn't get it yet. So I would say go look for that, and then obviously tell me your thoughts on it because I really want to hear it.